What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Gamecite Chronicles, the console gaming podcast where we sit down each and every week to talk about video games. I'm your host, Bonfire, and this is episode number 24, and a special episode indeed, because I am joined by the first guest of the podcast, the man, the myth, the legend of Cotton, aka Jordan. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. This is, it's been a minute since we had an actual conversation, so this is going to be just exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good, yeah, me too, man. It's like we were saying in kind of the, I guess, what is it, the green room before you start recording or whatever. It's been a long time coming, and a lot of it's on me. You know, I talked about, I'm super busy with work, got my kid, family stuff going on, and I had some technical issues I had to work through, but I got it squared away, and so I'm super stoked to have you on because, yeah, man, this is way too long since we've caught up and chatted.
And we're here. We're ready. I'm ready to dive into it all.
Good. Yeah, I got some fun topics for us to dive into. So we'll get into that in just a second. But for those that are new and uninitiated to the show, remember, best way to support the show is to leave a comment, drop a rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. Be sure to check us out over on Locals. It's the Patreon alternative platform. It's pretty cool. It's gamesitechronicles.locals.com. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And follow me on Twitter at Gamecite Podcast. And remember, new episodes of the show go live each and every week, Mondays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So for this week's episode, I wanted to talk Call of Duty. You're a big Call of Duty guy. I know you play a lot of Warzone. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
I got to be honest, I have no idea what that is. So I'll have you explain it to me here shortly. But I haven't touched on really kind of the Xbox acquisition of Activision and Call of Duty and kind of get, a big fan's perspective of it. So I want to dive into that. But also, there's been some news around The Last of Us Part 1, additional controversy. I don't know if you've caught up around some of that or seen some of the stuff like on Twitter and social media.
A little
bit, I want to dive into that too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. So but before we get into that though, let's talk about the games that we're playing. As it's a staple here on the show, I always want to talk about the games we're playing. Remember, for you out there, right into the show, let me know what games you've been playing. We'll get that into the show. But Jordan, what have you been playing lately?
So I've kind of been on, honestly, a little bit of a break from gaming. I've been a little bit sick over the last couple of weeks, just stomach bug and stuff like that. So I just kind of relaxed and chilled out. But recently, I've really been enjoying Fall Guys. Like it's wild to say. I didn't like it very much when it first came out, but it's got this whole new resurgence right now. Yeah. And literally yesterday I played for like 6 hours with my friends. Like it's got that like OG Mario Party kind of like fun with your friends kind of vibe. Like it's very competitive, but it's also like very infuriating. But it's a lot of fun. So I've been playing that, and then I actually recently played through all the Kingdom Hearts games again. Just a little nostalgia trip because I do that every couple of years. I played through all those games. And then also recently I just played through Ocarina of Time again because I do that also every couple of years because Ocarina of Time is my absolute number one favorite video game ever. And I will, whenever I have kids, that is going to be one of the first games that they play because it is just a masterpiece.
That is a really good game. It's funny. I remember when Fall Guys first came out on the PlayStation, and I think it was a PS Plus game, if I'm not mistaken, because it was free. And I remember jumping into it, and it was fun. I definitely had some fun with it, but I don't know. It just didn't capture me that way. But it went free to play now, right?
Yeah, it's free to play, and they've got like crazy collaborations with like it's like the equivalent of like Fortnite because it's on the Epic Games launcher now, so it's owned by Epic. But they've got like Assassin's Creed collaborations and Among Us and just like a whole bunch of other stuff. So they've done really well for themselves. And actually, I'm looking at my desktop right now, and I just realized I lied, and I actually have played a recent game. I actually just beat the Quarry like a month ago. So actually, a more recent game I actually have played. So that was very interesting, that game, for sure.
Yeah, that's one that's on my list. I definitely want to pick it up here and play through it because I loved Until Dawn. That was a fantastic game. I think it's like one of the best games on PlayStation 4. Like that was such a sleeper hit. It's so fun to play through. And this one, it looked like a return to form. Would you say it's a return to form for them?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Without like spoilers or anything, it's not quite the same as Until Dawn. So like Until Dawn really utilized the PlayStation 4 controllers, like the motion stuff, which I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
really added to like the horror aspect.
Mhm.
And there's something similar in the game to it, but it's just not quite the same when it comes to that level of like gameplay. So it's
Okay.
interesting. The acting is really good. I like the people that they chose for the actors and stuff like that in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still will say Until Dawn is better.
Okay, that's fair. Now, did you play that on PC?
I did play it on PC. Yeah.
Ah, man, this is a console gaming podcast, man. What's
What?
going on?
I played with an Xbox controller though.
Okay, all right. I'll give you
So
half credit there. Fair enough.
it was for the graphics. It was for the graphics.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. For my thing, like my thing with PC gaming is I cannot do keyboard mouse. I just
No,
can't do it.
no, I don't. I
It
think
just no.
I think there's very few games that I would ever actually play like keyboard and mouse. It's literally just for like the graphic improvements, and
Yeah,
that's like
everything
why I
runs
play.
better.
That's why I play Call of Duty on PC. But I play with
Yeah.
controllers for the increased field of view and higher frames and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So
No, that totally makes sense. Yeah. Let me ask you this, but before I get into the games that I've been playing, for the query, how long did it take you to beat it?
I played on stream, and so I think it was around like the 9 hour mark, maybe somewhere
Okay,
around there.
that's
Eight,
good.
eight to
I
nine
think that's a good
hours.
amount.
Yeah, it was, and
Yeah.
it's really like visually, it's really nice. Like it's
Yeah.
really good. So, but it was this very solid like stream game. Got the community involved. Kind of had
Yeah.
them help me with the decisions, which definitely made it more fun and stuff like that. So,
It
yeah,
definitely seems like one of those really good streamable games to get your community involved. So
one
that's
hundred
awesome.
percent, 100%.
Cool. That's good, man. That's awesome. So I've only really been playing one game here lately, and that's Ghostwire Tokyo. Do
Okay,
you know about that game?
I do not educate me a little bit.
So it's really interesting. So it's done by Tango Gameworks, which is now owned by though it's Bethesda, but they're owned by Xbox now. So that's really interesting because it's a PlayStation exclusive currently, I think at least for a year. And it's it's an open world game, and the premise is essentially everyone in Tokyo is kind of disappeared, and there's like these ghosts and spirits that have kind of taken over Tokyo, and you kind of join forces with one of the spirits who kind of like takes over your body and gives you like these powers, and you kind of go and save everyone. I mean, that's the general premise, but it's a game that when I saw like the trailer and I was seeing some gameplay of it, I was kind of like, this just kind of looks super generic, like kind of almost Far Cry-ish, and where you're kind of just checkboxing and like opening the map like with the fog and stuff like that, and kind of just going around. And it just didn't really look that interesting. But one of the podcasts I listened to, Sacred Symbols, I don't know if you've ever listened to that one, but they were talking about this game, and they said that it's actually pretty cool and really fun. And they said yes, it's a collectathon, but it's very well paced. It's not super long for an open world game. And just the way they described it, I was like, okay, well, maybe this is a game I like. And so I picked it up on sale, and it's awesome. It's actually absolutely encapsulated me. I like this game way more than I thought it would. It's certainly like a collectathon. I mean, there's so many collectibles in this game. It's not even funny. Like one of the big things that you do is you go around, and because everyone's gone, you have to collect spirits, everyone's spirits. And so you're trying to save these people, collect their spirits. And I want to say there's like 240,000 of them.
Oh
Now,
my goodness.
that's a lot, but each time you collect a spirit, you get, I don't know, approximately 100. So really there's like 240 of them, give or take.
Okay. I was like,
So
wow,
it's not
that
not
is
too bad, but still it's a lot. It's a kind of daunting. You see this daunting number on there. And so you go around and collect these spirits, and then there's like little trinkets to collect. And there's yokai to like ghost yokais to go find and capture, all along while you're kind of tracking this enemy and trying to get behind why he's doing what he's doing and what happened to Tokyo. But I think one of the cool things, there's two things that kind of stood out to me. Is one, like it's just fun to explore Tokyo. I think the environments are really well done. It's just cool to be in downtown Tokyo. No one's around you, so it's kind of eerie. And did you ever play The Evil Within? Either of those games?
I did not.
Okay. So they made those games, Tango Gameworks, those first two games were very horror-based games, survival horror. I actually really like both of them, even though I don't think a lot of people did, but the second one especially was really good. So I mean, if you're into those, check those out. But this game is less horror and more kind of more actiony, but it's kind of got suspense moments in there. Like some of the side missions, you'll go into like these buildings, and it's just kind of like creepy things are kind of happening. Like this spirit's kind of just messing with you, and so it's creepy, but it's not like jump scary Like I'm
Gotcha.
sure there's jump scares in the quarry and stuff like that, but it's not like that. But it's awesome. I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 24 hours into it now. I think you can probably plow through the game in a dozen hours maybe if you just kind of go straight through the story. But I'm taking my time, enjoying it, still doing collecting. I want to get the platinum on this game. I don't know if you're much of an achievement or trophy hunter, but
No, but I have plenty of friends that do, so I
yeah,
understand it.
yeah. I'm not the biggest just because I don't tend to, because a lot of games you have to play through them a couple different times to get the platinums, and I'm not about that. But this one you don't have to, so I'm like, okay, I think I can do it. And it's just collecting a bunch of stuff. So I think one of the other things too that I like about this is I can kind of jump in and jump out, which really works with my schedule. Just be able to hop in for like an hour or so, go collect a bunch of stuff, and then save and hop out. So it's really good. But that's the main game I've been playing. Now I did pick up a new game that just came out. On the Switch called I call it Live a Live, but I think it's pronounced Live Alive. Have you seen
Oh,
that game?
I've seen it a little bit, yes.
Okay. Do you play JRPGs or anything like that? Into those much?
I think technically Kingdom Hearts
Yeah.
classifies as that.
Yeah.
So
I put that in that
yes,
RPG space.
yeah,
Okay.
and a little bit of Final Fantasy. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. So yeah, I don't know. This game looks awesome. So a little history on this game, if you didn't know, is this game was originally released. I think it was 28 years ago, like
Wow.
1994, on the I want to say like Super Nintendo, and it was never released here in the West though. Like it only came out in Japan. And so they remade it, finally brought it to the West, and it's kind of got that like Octopath Traveler, like 2D HD style of graphics. But it looks
Oh,
really
check
cool,
that
and
out.
I've talked about it here on the show that I'm super excited for it. So that's what I'm bringing with me on my trip next week. So I'm going to be playing that on my Switch, and I'm very much looking forward to that. All right, so let's dive into The Last of Us. You're a big Last of Us guy, right?
Yes.
And you're like you love Naughty Dog. I think we both love Naughty Dog. We
Yes,
we
I
we've
think
played some multiplayer together. That
yes,
was
I think
fun. Good
we built
times.
our friendship off of our love for Naughty Dog.
Yes, yes. And gosh, before we actually get into that, how do you feel about this factions game that's coming out or
I'm
that's being worked
interested.
on?
I'm
Inter-
interested.
yeah, okay.
Like I will give it an opportunity. I'm not gonna talk crap on it until I actually, have played it. But it's not at the top of my list by any means, but like
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Show me more. Let me see what we're working
Yeah.
with here.
Yeah. I I'm super excited for it cuz I The Last of Us 1, their multiplayer, I don't know, there was just something about it that was so fun. And lately these days, I'm not super big into multiplayer games. I like my single player games, but there was something about that game that was just I don't know, the combat was really intense. It was kind of that 4v4 multiplayer, had to work together as a team. I don't know, it was really good, really gritty. And I really liked it. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with it. And I think it's going with a live service angle though. And so I'm kind of curious how they're going to incorporate that stuff into like that style of game.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be free. I wouldn't be surprised if it's free to play. I would actually be surprised if they charge for it. So we
Mostly
should,
everything is going free to play. So I mean
yeah,
it's the best market strategy that they can do. So
that's definitely the model. However, it worries me a little bit because if you look at the mobile space, that's not a really good space to to be in. But we'll save that for another day. So, The Last of Us Part One. There's been a lot of controversy about this game and its price point. $70 when it comes out. I can already tell I think where you're going to land up on this. So talk to me. $70. How do you feel about that?
Listen, $70 for a remade game, which okay, yes, there's some graphical changes and everything like that, but I can't stand behind a $70 price tag for something we've pretty much all played and we're gonna probably play again just for the graphic changes. Like they're not changing a ton of stuff. I know that they're kind of modeling Last of Us One to kind of run on the same engine as The Last of Us Part Two,
Yeah.
but like $70 is not. I don't get it, and especially right now with inflation and however just how the
Yeah.
economy's going for everybody, like it's just I can't support it. Like I don't. It's not a thumbs up for me on that price tag. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, let me ask you this then. What would get you to pay $70 for The Last of Us? Because I've heard that sentiment. quite a few times, and I get it, and I'll get to that in a second. But I'm curious, like what makes it $70?
I don't even know. Like I don't think that there's anything that would be able to be done to make me justify $70 on a game that I've already like played through multiple times, right?
Okay, yeah,
Like there's for example, a couple years ago, they remastered the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. Like it
yeah,
was
yeah,
just the campaign and it was
yep,
like $30 and that was like that's solid cuz you're getting like 12 hours of gameplay whatever
hmm,
and you've already played it.
yep,
And so, if they just I just think they need to just drop the price point a bit because if you look at it, the original game you got was a $60 game. Now you're
yeah.
paying $70 for the same game, story wise, with a few improvements, and it just doesn't sit right with me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're not the only one in that camp, and I definitely hear it. Now, I'm kind of the mindset. I agree that we've all played. Most of us have already played this game multiple times. We probably bought the PS3 version, then bought the remastered PS4 version, and here we are a third time. Potentially buying it again for the PS5. So I definitely get that, but they put out a video. I want to say it was probably a week and a half ago now. Like Naughty Dog put out like a 10-minute video where they talked about like here are the gameplay improvements. Have you watched that?
I haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay. I mean, check it out. Especially, I mean, if you're interested in the game, check it out. It's really interesting. It's cool because they do a lot of side by side comparisons. Talk about kind of the nerdy, very game devy, things that they're improving in the game. And watching that and seeing those comparisons, like, okay, like I can see it. Right? There's huge improvements. I mean, from character models to facial animations to even the way they talked about using AI to choose the best like frame as the character moves so it's more natural feeling and it looks natural. I think they like enemy AIs are improved, your buddy AI is improved. So I mean, there's a lot of those very technical improvements, and I get that. But the point I made last week that I think will stand is like I think these are all valid improvements, and but I think with a lot of these improvements, we're not going to really notice them as gamers because we're going to be immersed in the game, and yeah, maybe even more so immersed. But because this stuff is so good, we're not going to notice them, and therefore that's not helping justify the price.
Yes, I
And I think
agree.
about it like you think about good sound design or good music. If you're watching a movie or even playing a game, you don't notice those things per se because it immerses you in the game because it is so good. And I think that's going to be the same case with this.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that it's exciting that we're getting something like this, like that the technology is where it is that we're getting so many changes to the game. But
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's worth that $70. I think a lot of people, myself included, are gonna wait for like a Black Friday sale or
Yeah.
some sort of like random
Price
weekend
drop.
where it says it's like 35% off or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a price drop. So
Definitely. Definitely. And the more I kind of I heard one point that really stood out to me, and I'm kind of coming around to feeling the same way about the price. Um, Now I won't get into this, but I've made this point before on my show that video games, as we know them today, have never been cheaper or more accessible in our lifetimes. Especially if you look at like Game Pass subscription services, free to play games, etc.
yeah,
But I'm coming around to the argument for the price of The Last of Us Part One, really for two reasons. And the first reason is that I think a lot of folks and they make the argument that there's no gameplay improvements. And the big thing that they point out is they wanted the part two's gameplay improvements. Particularly, they call it like the prone ability, being able to go prone like under cars and stuff like that,
yeah.
which is not in this game. It's not going to be put in part one. Which in I can kind of understand why they wouldn't make that move per se, because I imagine it probably changes like the level design, and it probably changes the gameplay a little too much. Though, I mean, yeah, that'd be absolutely cool. Like, because Last of Us Part Two gameplay was phenomenal. But the other thing, and I think this is the more compelling argument, is that you're not getting the full package like we did with the PS4. And I'm pretty sure you got the PS4 version. I know I did. That came
Yes.
with the single player game, the DLC, and the multiplayer. Whereas now we're just getting the single player game and the DLC, no multiplayer. So you're not getting the full package now, and we're being asked to pay a little bit more. So that from that argument standpoint, it's like, okay, I can kind of see it and I can get behind. Okay, maybe $70 is a little too high.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. You just you see what you get, you see what you got originally for the what the price was, a few years ago versus what you are now. It's I don't know. Again, I'm just gonna wait for a price drop to get my hands on it because it's not like I need it so badly that I've never like. It's not one of those games
Yeah.
that I'm like I need it that I haven't experienced it already. I've already experienced the game,
Yep.
but I am a sucker for for increased graphics and everything. Like they
Yeah.
sold me on that part. I'm sold on that for sure. And so, but just not enough to get it like a day one release.
Day one. Yeah. Yeah. I feel I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, well, and part of me is like, I'm probably going to be playing some other game that I'm not going to be willing to jump into that game like day one, especially because I've already played it. So I'm kind of in the same boat where I'll probably wait a little bit. But I came across an article on Push Square, which if you've never checked out that website, I highly recommend it. Because when you're not on the PC, I believe you're more of a PlayStation guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, correct. I'm looking at a PS5 right now.
Ah, good. Did you get any of the faceplates? Side note.
I did not. I did
Okay. I'm
not.
thinking about getting one, but I haven't gotten it yet either. They got some cool colors though. But this article was titled "There's no comparison between The Last of Us on PS5 versus PS3," says Dev. And I'm not going to read the entire article, but they highlighted two tweets, one from one of the devs and some random person that was asking the dev a question that I think kind of highlights this and really puts things into perspective. So the person tweeting the dev said, "Dear Jonathan, people were hyped a lot when it was announced that gameplay was improved and they expected The Last of Us 2 levels of gameplay for that price that is asked. The visual upgrade is amazing, and that's for sure. But in my opinion, the price needs to be dialed down," which I think kind of perfectly succinks a lot of people's, yours included,
Yes.
their feelings. He responded and said, "People complain about gameplay by watching a video, but nobody actually had their hand on the controller. Having played both, there is no comparison between PS3 and PS5. And the prone would have simply broken the gameplay and the combat space as it wasn't built this way originally," which is kind of what I was saying. But it's just kind of interesting to hear that perspective. How do you take that response,
I
given you kind of feel that guy?
uh I mean, I can see where they're coming from. It's just
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how to like. It's hard to answer. I don't know. It's just weird. I think it's all just weird. Like,
Yeah.
give me the game for $40 and we're chilling. Give
Yeah.
me the game for $40. I will. If it was $40 on day one, I would do it. But
Okay. What
if
about
it's
50? Because I was thinking 50 might be an appropriate price point, given
how
kind of the way PS5 games have gone.
what's kind of like the time to beat on that again? I can't remember the hour.
That's a good
If you
question.
just kind of play it like linear, not really trying
Yeah.
to do all the side stuff
Let
or
me
whatever.
check because I. You ever use a website How Long to Beat?
Yes, let's.
Oh, it's I go to the anytime I'm looking to play a game, like how long is it going to take?
Yep.
So let's see. The Last of Us remastered, just a casual playthrough, about 18 hours.
Okay. So I mean, $50 is worth it because I also the way I look at like a price point for a game as well is the equivalent of how many like movie tickets would it cost to play that to get that exact same amount of entertainment, if that makes
Okay.
sense. So
Yeah, yeah,
what did you say? You said like 18 hours, is that what you said?
yeah. Approximately. Yep.
Probably yeah. So like 18 hours for $50, that's like what like four movies, five movies, something like that, depending on where you live. So like
Yeah.
that's a lot. That's a lot of time. And so
Hmm.
I guess $50 is not that bad. But like 70 for 18, it doesn't correlate as well as 50 would.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Now I have seen. I'm pretty sure they're bringing Part One to PC. Would
Yes.
you? Would you get it on PC instead?
I might have to do it because when these games come to PC, there's a lot of mods that come with them. Like
Mm,
people figure out how to do mods.
yep.
When the Kingdom Hearts games came to PC, I think it was like last year or something like that.
Yeah.
There was there's some crazy mods out there, and you're able to do stuff that you would not let are limited to, like you can't do on a PS5.
Yep.
So it might definitely it's intriguing. So like we'll see what kind of mods come with that because there's definitely going to be some sort of modding that comes with that. So I
Yeah.
mean if they're cool enough, then yeah, I'll definitely I'll do it because that just it enhances the experience and kind of changes it too if you're able to play as different characters or somehow get different weapons through modding. Like just
Yeah.
there's a lot of things you can do with it coming to PC.
I was just thinking, someone when that comes to PC, someone is for sure putting Abby in that
Yep.
game,
Yep.
guaranteed.
Yep.
I mentioned this on when we were talking about the quarry, but since you play it on PC, I'm curious if the PS5 version has kind of DualSense support, like special things that happen, and that kind of like we were talking about the PS4 with Until Dawn. I'm wondering if the quarry has something special with the PS5 DualSense.
Yeah,
Do you,
I'm not sure because I didn't watch any gameplay on it until
yeah,
after I beat the game because I don't want to be influenced on like the decisions that you make in the game. Like I don't want to see some
definitely.
other content creator, choosing left instead of choosing right, right? And
Yep.
then I know
Yep.
what happens. So I really haven't seen any other any other creators play specifically on PlayStation 5. The videos that I've seen have just all been PC with an Xbox One controller. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know the part one is gonna have some pretty cool dual sense support. I don't know, I love that thing. It's awesome. Like when you can just feel like the little haptics or like the tension on the triggers.
yes.
It's awesome.
Except that whole thing, the trigger things, that is terrible for Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I believe that.
terrible.
I
Oh my gosh, I
I
did
believe that.
not like it. I was like, I tried it for the first few times, and I was like, okay, I can't do this. Like, I have to turn it off because
Yeah.
I'm putting so much pressure on my controller just to aim down sight, and I don't like this.
Yeah. Well, I think there's even been some people that have broken the springs on those triggers.
Oh yeah, I
And
can
so yeah.
understand because like in game you got an LMG that takes forever to like you got to hold that thing down to ADS, and I can see why people would break their controllers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I gotta say, did you ever play Returnal?
I did not.
Oh, dude, that is a game you should try out. That especially you like shooters, so I
I
mean it's
do.
third person shooter, roguelite, but it's the gameplay in that is phenomenal. And but it has like one of the best implementations of DualSense because you hold the left trigger like halfway to kind of aim. Then if you hold it down all the way, it like kind of activates a special like second fire ability for whatever weapon you're using. So it's just really cool. And then obviously you can feel like the haptics depending on the environments you're walking on and stuff like that. But it's really cool the way they used DualSense in that game. But that game is phenomenal. It's hard too, hard AF.
Ugh,
So
I don't know. It sounds rage inducing.
yeah, well, you might be, yeah,
I
but
don't know.
it's good, man. I you should check it out. So okay, let's talk Call of Duty.
Yes, sir.
Dive into that.
My
This is your
special.
specialty. Now, I've been out of the scene for a while. I'm going to be honest. I kind of fell out after Advanced Warfare, and then I've kind of been in and out every couple Call of Duty iterations. The last one I played was Black Ops Cold War. I did enjoy that for the most part. Like I thought it was a solid, fine campaign. Multiplayer was fun. I dabbled in that a little bit, but haven't really played a ton of them. And I haven't tried Warzone. I don't even understand Warzone. I'm going to be honest with you. So let's start there. Can you explain Warzone to me?
Yeah, so Warzone has definitely evolved a lot over the last 2 years. It was released at literally the most perfect time. I think that's the reason it got so big because Warzone released the day before the world shut down for COVID. So
Yep.
it's free to play Call of Duty Battle Royale. So how it works is we'll just give the basic rundown of it. Everybody
Yeah.
falls in. Everybody's got to lands with the starting pistol. You got your general loot on the ground and stuff like that. You got your money.
Yep.
And then there's buy stations around the map. You go to the buy stations. You can buy kill streaks, UAVs, precision airstrikes, cluster strikes, ammo, armor plates, and then loadout drops. So this is where Warzone is really different from a lot of other battle royales. Is so the weapons that you level up in multiplayer go toward you can also use in Warzone. So you get these loadouts, and
Okay.
you spend I think it's $10,000 or 7,500 or something like that for the loadout, and you go in and you it's basically multiplayer create a class but for Warzone. So you get your AR, your SMG, your perks, your attachments, all that kind of stuff, and then you run around the map and try to be the last team to win or last team to survive.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
so is it like you once you done like you die, you're done.
so it's really unique. So if you die, you actually get a second chance. You go to this thing called the Gulag, where you fight somebody else that has also already died. So you're in a 1v1 with a random class that the game gives
Okay.
you, in
Okay.
like a small area. So they've done like remakes of like different Call of Duty maps for the Gulag. So like there's been like a smaller version of Nuketown and like different
Oh
maps and stuff
wow.
like that. So you're playing in like a like I think of like a little mini paintball arena type of thing,
Yeah.
equivalent of
Okay.
that, like just smaller scale down of a Call of Duty map. and then whoever wins that 1v1 with the random class that the game gives you, you parachute back into the map and you can go rejoin your team, or if you're playing solo, just rejoin the game. So, and
Oh, okay,
then
that's a really cool mechanic. I actually like that.
yeah, and then there's also you can buy your teammates back. So your teammate dies and then goes to the gulag and then dies. You can spend, I think it's, they changed it, but it's now like 3,000 in-game dollars to um, bring them back. So you got to collect like $3,000 or do some contracts in the game to make some money, and then you can buy your teammate back. So
Okay.
there's a lot of opportunity to still be in the game, because a lot of battle royales are very unforgiving. So like you
Yep.
die, you're out of the game. Like there's no
Yeah.
coming back. So this gives you a lot of opportunity in different ways to still stay engaged, even if you're not the best. You can
Yeah.
come back and potentially win or whatever.
That actually sounds pretty fun. That sounds really cool.
Yes.
And so there, you said there's contracts. So there like little like side things to do to
Yeah.
get money and activities.
So there's different contracts around the map. There's ones called bounties. So like if you grab that, it'll highlight somebody on the map. It won't give you their exact location. Like it's not a UAV to show you exactly, but it's like a general area. It'll give you like a yellow circle. It'll be like they're in this area, and the closer you get to them, they have a threat bar on them. So if you're really far away, it'll be one threat. If you're really close to them, they'll see on their screen a three threat, like a 3 bar threat.
Yeah.
And so you hunt them, and it gives you your team money if you successfully eliminate them, or if somebody from another team kills the person that you were looking for. You get a bounty poach, so you get like half the money. You still get some of the money, you get half of it because somebody else from a different team killed them. And then there's ones
Yeah.
around the map where you have to like open up like the loot chest, like open up 3 in a row and you'll get money. And then there's other ones that help you. Um, there's like this one called the most wanted one, where if you pick it up, people can come and hunt you. But if you're it's the opposite of a bounty. So like if you pick it up, the entire map can see where you are. And so if you stay alive for like 3 minutes, your entire team comes back. So like there's a lot of
Oh,
opportunities
that's cool.
you make money, but you also can bring your team back. And there's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
different like little contracts you can pick up to help you make money and increase the cash flow in the game, so you're able to buy kill streaks and loadouts and whatever you need.
Does your money carry over from match to match?
No, no.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So everybody starts at 0 when
Okay.
you spawn in.
That's cool. That's awesome. That sounds actually, maybe I'll download that. I know it's like,
Yeah.
isn't it like 200, it's like 200 gigs, I think, on the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's a
It's
lot.
ridiculous.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but it does sound really cool. I gotta say, I'll give them some credit there. Maybe it's something I try out at some point. But before we get back to Warzone, I want to switch back to Xbox. And so we all know Xbox acquired, or they're in the process of acquiring Activision. When this news came out, what was your first instinct? How do you take it? What are your thoughts on it?
I was confused at first because of the uh, PlayStation exclusivity thing that's been going on for the
With Call of Duty?
6 years. Yeah, with Call of Duty for the last, I want
Yeah,
to say, 6 years. And so
yeah.
I was really like like I'm intrigued because it sounds cool. Like a big company like Xbox buying them out, or buying the rights to it, whatever. Because I don't. Call of Duty has kind of gone a little bit downhill ever since it went Activision Blizzard,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It intrigued me, so I was wondering how the exclusivity thing is gonna work, because they've had such a big contract with Sony for so long. So, but yeah, I think it's honestly a good thing. I definitely think that Xbox can come in and maybe help hopefully fix some of the things that Call of Duty has going on for it right now, and get back
Yeah.
to its roots. Because honestly, when Call of Duty was not exclusive to Xbox, but had like the rights, right? Like so like
Yeah. The
DLC would
marketing
come out.
stuff.
Yeah, the DLC would come out earlier, or like the betas would come out earlier, all on Xbox and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, it just felt like it was in better hands. Like I kind of trust Xbox with this more now that we've seen what Xbox has done with Call of Duty in the past versus what Sony and like Activision Blizzard has been doing recently. So
Okay.
I'm interested in it. I have high expectations, but also high hopes.
Yeah. Now it's interesting you talk about the exclusivity point, because I actually wanted to dive into that a little bit, because The Verge, like the website The Verge, they reported back in February, because I was curious about this too, and I think a lot of people were thinking, what happens to Call of Duty? Does it go exclusive? Like, what does that mean for PlayStation gamers and stuff like that? But Microsoft came out and stated that they're going to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation beyond the existing terms. So the article says, and I quote, Microsoft says the Call of Duty franchise and other popular cross-platform Activision Blizzard games, so I'm thinking like Diablo, Overwatch, etc., will remain available on PlayStation if and when its $68.7 billion acquisition goes through, which is just, that's an insane amount of
Insane.
money. So they said, quote, to be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision. Microsoft says, and we have confirmed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games that they love. So it sounds like we're still going to have Call of Duty games on PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
If
just
I'm a,
I'm just curious how it's gonna go. So like right now, for the most part, the only thing that PlayStation really has a leg up on versus like playing on the PC version or the Xbox version is you get
Mhm.
the betas for the new game like a week before. So like
Oh, yeah.
when the
Yep.
beta drops, right? So there's going to be a PlayStation exclusive weekend. This is the first weekend, and then the second
Yeah.
weekend is open to all
Like,
systems. So
okay. Yep.
as of
I
right
remember
now,
seeing those.
that's literally like about it. Like there's nothing. They're not really. They
Does,
don't really do the DLC thing where
yeah, I
it's
was just
like
going to ask about that.
they don't really do that anymore. So
Okay.
I'm curious what'll really happen. What will really even change besides maybe there'll be 2 weekends in a row that everybody gets. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be really interesting. For me, so when the news came out with the Xbox acquisition, I was definitely shocked. I got to say that. I didn't. I mean, that's huge. I mean, what is it? $68.7 billion. That's, I can't even imagine that amount of money. And I I've been, I don't really like this whole industry acquisition thing, like with so many of these companies being eaten up kind of by, either, PlayStation and Sony or Microsoft and Xbox. Nintendo hasn't really been doing it. They're kind of just on their own little island. They do their own thing, and I respect them for that. But I'm not a big fan of it because I like the idea of still having a lot of third party publishers out there and third party devs because it keeps competition in the marketplace.
Agreed.
And I don't want to. I've seen it compared to, and I definitely see similarities to with like the way Disney acquired like Marvel and Star Wars, and we don't have to
Yeah.
go into that, but just kind of how it waters down content and stuff like
Yep.
that. And it's kind of my biggest fear of what happens with some of these Activision Blizzard titles, and even with Bethesda. I mean, that was a big one too. Like I love quite a bit of Bethesda games, especially like from Arcane, like Dishonored, Deathloop, some of those games, and obviously I'm enjoying Ghostwire Tokyo. So I'm a big fan of those games. Wolfenstein. Did you ever play Wolfenstein?
I
Those games are
did.
awesome,
I did.
awesome games. So I hope it doesn't hinder the quality. So I don't like to see this. So that's kind of my initial gut reaction. But then yeah, I was kind of curious on Call of Duty exclusivity, but in seeing this, with them keeping Call of Duty, and it sounds like maybe Activision Blizzard will kind of be its own kind of vertical within the company, kind of the way Bungie is now with PlayStation. Bungie is still going to be, Destiny on all platforms, doing all that stuff, but now they're just owned by Sony. So it sounds like it's kind of the same rope, and I think it makes sense because, I mean, Call of Duty is consistently like the best-selling game every single year on PlayStation, every
Yeah.
year, and
Yes.
they sell millions and millions of copies. And so, like, why wouldn't they continue to just make that money? I could just That's a no-brainer, in my opinion.
No, 100%. Yeah. I just and like even like thinking back to it a little bit, like there's not I the like the PlayStation part is cool, but like they're not. It doesn't really do anything. Like the
Yeah.
PlayStation again exclusivity, whatever. It doesn't even do anything. Like for the longest time there, if whoever was the owner or had the rights to Call of Duty, right? That's
Hmm.
what the professional players were playing on. So like
Oh,
for
yep.
years it was Xbox 360 and then Xbox One, and then the rights switched over to Sony, and then everybody was playing on PlayStation 4s. And
Hmm.
then I actually believe I think this last year of like the pro circuit or whatever, they're playing on PCs. So they're not even
Mm.
playing on console anymore. So
Okay,
I'm I
that makes sense.
I'm not quite sure if the exclusivity even matters. I think it's just a thing to say at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think it matters in the sense that, like, I think the marketing rights,
Yeah.
if we're talking about that, I think it matters to either Xbox or PlayStation. 'Cause I think to like the more casual folks who maybe are just playing Call of Duty, or even folks who maybe just kind of play the sports games or are very casual about gaming, kind of hop in, hop out. They have their game or two that they play. When they see their favorite game tied to a specific console, I think they tend to drift to that console
Yeah.
just without even thinking about it. So I think just having your name associated, like a big name like Call of Duty associated with your platform, is going to draw folks to your platform. Because I'm sure there were tons of people, especially if the pros were doing it, they were jumping from Xbox over to PlayStation or vice
Yep.
versa if it goes back, just because that name is tied with that platform.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what I like. That's why I switched over to. That's when I got my first PlayStation 4. Was when they switched over. Was
See, there you go.
because it was 20. Oh, what was it? 2016? No, 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 no.
Was it
2015.
2014,
2015.
15,
14, 15. I don't
somewhere
remember.
around there?
Yeah, so it was Black Ops 3 is when they
Oh, okay.
switched over, and I remember I hadn't gotten the PlayStation 4 yet, but they did the whole beta thing, right? So like
Yeah,
the first weekend, anybody who had a PlayStation 4 got to play the beta first, and so I was like, okay, I don't want to like sit here another. I don't want to. I'm
I
too
got to get in.
impatient. I'm too impatient to like wait a week. I just want to
Yeah,
buy. I'm just gonna buy a PlayStation, so I did. So
yeah.
yeah,
No, that yeah, like I said, that makes sense. Yeah. And it's yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. Now, another thing that I think is interesting in this acquisition that's kind of come out is that it's been reported for the first time since 2004, Call of Duty is going to skip an annual entry in
yes,
2023 next year.
yes, thank you. That like as a Call of Duty fan that has played every single one, has gotten every single one on release, like since 2012, 11, 12.
Yeah,
No, it'd be 2012 because that's when Black Ops 2 came out. But
that's what.
so
But yeah,
for
that makes
literally the
sense.
last almost 10
Decade.
years at this point, this is what Call of Duty needs. Like, please,
Yeah,
like last three Call of Duties have just been utter garbage in terms of like everything just feels rushed and unpolished and just not finished. And then like
yeah,
you're 6, 7, 8 months into the game, then that's when the game finally feels finished. And that's just not how it should be. Like it's just it's
because then
terrible.
everyone's already talking about the next game.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that happens with every Call of Duty, honestly. Like
yeah,
everybody's always talking. But like I've noticed it get a lot worse over the last 3, 4 years, probably,
yeah.
I would say. I know that in general sense, a lot of people actually enjoyed Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which came out in 2016, 17, no, 17.
That
A lot of
17 sounds right.
yeah, a lot of people enjoy that one. Like people are regard that one as the best one of the most recent years. But like Black Ops Cold War launched and it was very unpolished.
Yeah,
This Vanguard is very unpolished. It's still unpolished, and like it's just there's features in the game that other Call of Duties have or had at like launch, and it takes them like 6, 7 months to implement into the game. Like competitive mode, like that's something that a lot of people want, right? Like
yeah,
they want to grind for something, they want to grind for ranks and everything like that. I
yeah.
think it just came out like 2 months ago, and we're at this
That's
point. From now, we're like 3 months away from the new one.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
Like,
we're
what's
we're
the
about 3 months.
Yeah, that's I think that's unacceptable. And you're right. I have noticed that too, to where as each of these Call of Duties come out, it just feels like you're getting less and less like features, or things are coming out just completely broken.
Yep.
I feel like that's kind of been the consistent story each year for the last few entries.
Yeah, it's gotten worse, like I said, and
Yeah.
for some reason it takes them longer to fix things or nerf things or buff things. Like it's just I don't know if it's just a lack of employees or if it's just
Yeah.
I don't exactly know what the problem is, but I definitely support the no new Call of Duty next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's super exciting. I mean, just to put that in context, it's 18, if my math is right, 18 straight years of Call of Duty.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
insane. That's and I know I'm a little older than you, but that's like your almost your entire life.
Yeah, I think I was 7 years old when the first one came out or something
Oh
like
my,
that.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I mean, that's what a run. I mean, that's a long run, but what do you want to see now with the year off? I liken it to when Assassin's Creed took that year or two off, when
Hmm.
they kind of went, because they were doing the annual entries. They took some time off, and then they came back with Assassin's Creed Origins. I've talked about, I love Assassin's Creed Origins. I don't know if you've played that game, but it's phenomenal. I just fell in love with that game. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I love what they did and how they changed up the formula for that game. So, in thinking about the possibilities of Call of Duty taking time off, like what do you want to see them do? Like what kind of changes do you want to see? How do you want to see them improve this game?
Well, with them taking a year off, I think they're really gonna focus on. So we have the new Call of Duty, which is ironic. It's called Modern Warfare 2, but it's not Modern Warfare 2 remastered. It's just they're titling it
It's
that
like their
again.
reboot, right?
It's okay. So like the new Modern Warfare series is a prequel to the originals. So like the original games that came out in 2009, 2010, or yeah, 2010, and then 2011
For
or whatever
yeah,
those
no,
like COD
yeah, the
4,
first
Modern
Modern
Warfare 2.
Warfare
Yeah,
trilogy, right?
the original.
Yeah,
So the ones that have come out, so there was Modern Warfare 2019 that came out, obviously
yeah,
2019. That's a prequel to those games. And so this next game that comes out in October is also still a prequel. So they're all technically connected. And I
oh
it's called Modern Warfare 2 because the last one was Modern Warfare, and I get why they renamed it, because if you think you're buying Modern Warfare 2, like it already has a positive light, like the name, like everybody loves like you'll talk to most people, Modern Warfare 2 is the best game ever. So with that coming out and that being the game that everybody's going to be playing for the next 2 years, because we're not
yeah,
getting another game for another 2 years, I really want to see them focus on quality of life updates and lots of just new like good DLC. Not the DLC in the game now isn't paid for. You don't have to pay for DLC anymore in Call of Duty.
yep,
It's all free. So I just want to see higher quality and better in-game events and better um like weapon DLC that comes out and stuff like that. Like I just want to see them improve their quality, because what we've gotten in terms of all those things over the last couple of years have been not the greatest. Like it was cool. A lot of the stuff that came out that first year of like Warzone, so all of
yeah,
2020, a lot of the stuff was really cool because it was unique. But they're kind of recycling a lot of stuff. They're not really bringing a lot of new stuff.
yeah,
But so I would like to see them, considering they're not like they have so much more time and focus. They're not cramming in for another Call of Duty next year. I want them to really focus on just bettering the game, making sure what with the product we have now is the best that it can be, instead of being the best it can be in like 8 months. I want them to just continually making it better and build on it. So
yeah, yeah. You brought up a good point about the recycling content, because I feel like Call of Duty is notorious for that, and I think it
yep,
gets a lot of flack for that. And I've even noticed, because like when they used to, and you used to have to pay for all the like the DLC map packs and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure that's free now, at
yeah,
least those updates when they bring those maps. But it's like the same maps we've all played hundreds of times
yes,
from like all the
they
previous entries. It's like, how is this new? You just reskinned it. Like,
yeah, they just keep bringing like we've gotten Nuketown about 5 times. we've
yes.
gotten we've gotten a version of like Dome from Modern Warfare 3 like 3 times. Like we're getting like multiple maps reskinned like 3 to 4 times,
Or
and
like
it's just
firing range. I remember that one.
firing range has been in every single Black Ops game. Like there's firing range in the original Black Ops. There's Black Ops 2 firing range. There's Black Ops
Yeah.
3 firing range, and then there's literally Black Ops 4 firing range. That is four
Oh my
versions of firing range, and like there's a few other maps that also fall in it, and it's like, why? Like
yeah.
we got. I remember seeing when Cold War was out, and they were like announcing one of the new map packs or something, and it's like
Yeah.
returning jungle. And I'm like, we've played this
Oh
4 times already.
yeah,
What? Like,
jungle.
I'm not excited for this. We're playing with new weapons and worse in-game mechanics on the same map. Like it's
Yeah.
just, I would like to see. And if they are gonna like reskin old maps, which I'm fine with, like bring back some of the old ones, but like bring
Yeah.
back like ones we haven't seen in years. Like for example, they brought a World at War map into Vanguard.
Oh,
Absolutely love it. Like
that sounds awesome.
it's great. But and it's a map we haven't seen since World at War, so
Yeah.
2009 or whatever.
Which
Like
map was it? Do you
Dome.
remember?
It was the World at War dome, where it's like it's a giant building, and it's like really open in the middle. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it's like
Let's see.
it's a really solid map.
Oh, okay.
So, but like if I'm fine with
That's a
them
good
like
map. Yeah.
bringing back old maps, I don't have a problem with them like throwing in a little nostalgia into the game. But don't do ones we've already seen 6 or 7 like multiple amount of times. Like give me stuff
Yeah.
that I haven't played since 2011, 2012, stuff like that. So
Yeah. Well, and you got to think about too, like and maybe this is why they keep bringing back the same like 5 maps over and over again. But there's always like newer generations or kids that are getting into
yeah,
Call of Duty who never played those older games. So maybe that's part of it. But yeah, I'm with you on the recycled maps. Like if you're gonna do it, like you've got you've got at least what, like how many maps come in a Call of Duty game? Like 8, 10?
nowadays it's like 12 to 16, depending on how finished the game actually is. That was the other problem with Cold War. There was 8 maps when the game launched, and there was about 3 good ones. So
Yeah. Well, so if you have let's say 12 maps for every Call of Duty game, and you have what, 18 Call of Duty games to sift through, like you've got lots of backlog, lots of material to kind of sift through. Like surely there's got to be other stuff you can bring. I remember
yeah.
playing, gosh, what was it? I think it was the first Black Ops, and some of those DLC maps were great. Like
Oh, those
some
were
of them are bigger.
fantastic.
I get it, but like it's okay. I think that's okay. Like I don't mind the bigger maps every now and then, just
Yeah.
to spice it up.
Yeah, no, like so like the paid DLC maps were so much better than the stuff we're getting now. We're getting free stuff. Like it doesn't make sense. I don't get why you
Yeah.
would, but yeah, that's just something I would like to see is not the same maps. Like give me some new stuff. We
Yeah,
have we have
for sure.
there's the technology now. You can make some crazy stuff and get away with some crazy stuff. And it doesn't even have to be like time like the era appropriate. Like we could do some it's a shooter. Like it's not that serious. So like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just would like to see some things change.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I'm thinking about on the single player side, like I I really think they need to improve that formula. Like it's been a staple for first person shooters for, I mean, what, 18 years.
Yep.
And I think most of the campaigns, maybe that's being generous, but generally speaking, they're high quality and a lot of, fun to play. And I've enjoyed them certainly throughout the years. But I'm kind of thinking, like, you compare it now to more modern first person shooter games, like even like Doom, some of the new Doom games, Wolfenstein. Like those games are just so much better from a single player perspective. So like go back to the drawing board. Like what could they do to improve the single player experience for Call of Duty? Do you have
Yeah.
any ideas on that end?
I'm not really sure. I know because I mean, I'll play the campaign, but it's usually like 8 months into the game. Like I usually
Yeah.
just get on the game and focus on like getting multiplayer weapons leveled up and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And like as it is right now, I don't even really play like the traditional Call of Duty multiplayer. Like I don't enjoy that anymore. It's not satisfying to me. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm playing multiplayer to level up the guns for Warzone. Like that's what I'm
Mm,
doing. That's what a lot of people are doing now. Like Warzone is so popular and it's free
yeah.
to play and it's there's actual objective to it versus
Yeah.
like sitting on some flags for to try to get to 200 points and then that's
Yep.
that. Like it's not satisfying. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really play Call of Duty, I guess, in the traditional sense. Like I haven't even touched the Vanguard campaign yet. That game's been out for 9 months now.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I'm not really too sure just because I don't really play the campaign how most people play it. So
Yeah. No, that's fair. Like, yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point on everyone's feeding to Warzone, and they use these Call of Duty entries as ways to improve their characters or loadouts, like you're saying in Warzone. So like it almost makes me wonder, like why, and maybe that's what they're going to do when they skip this entry is just focus on Warzone. Like why not just focus on that? It seems to be your main platform. It's free to
that's
play.
they've
That's where the
definitely
players are.
they've definitely been doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is cross progressive, right? So like whatever
Okay.
you do in like let's just say like Vanguard, obviously, like
Yeah.
whatever you do in multiplayer Vanguard is going to carry over. So like say you're level 115 and then you just hit a level 116, like it's going to translate over to Warzone. So like your that kind of stuff translates over. Just not like your stats don't carry over. So like your stats are separate, but like your weapon progression, level progression, all that kind of stuff, challenges, they all they're all like synonymous. So like for example, this is something that I like a lot when it comes to like just multiplayer and Warzone combined. Is like, say there's a new weapon that comes out and you have to do like a certain challenge to unlock that weapon, right? It's not,
Yeah.
you don't have to pay to get it. You just have to complete some challenges. You can do
Yep.
those challenges either in Warzone or you can do those challenges in the regular multiplayer, and you'll unlock the
Oh,
weapon. So it depends.
that's cool.
Like if you like multiplayer more, you can go play multiplayer, unlock the new weapon. If you like Warzone more, you can go play Warzone and unlock the weapon. Like it's you can do either or. So that's something they've definitely done that I definitely like because
Yeah.
it gives people more options and whatever they want to do. So you're
Yeah.
not tied to one thing.
Yeah. No, that sounds really cool. Yeah. So speaking of Warzone, there's been rumors of Warzone too. Have you heard any of that stuff?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I do want to read a little bit. So found an article from Tech Radar that Warzone 2 is real. It's in development. They've reported. So they said, "quote The next iteration of Call of Duty Battle Royale is officially in development. Following plenty of rumors and speculation, developer Infinity Ward confirmed earlier this year that a new Warzone experience is in the works. It also confirmed this new experience and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, that new game, are designed from the ground up together. This new Warzone experience is being built in a new engine. According to the developer, it'll be a massive evolution of Battle Royale, introducing an all-new play space and new sandbox mode. Publisher Activision Blizzard has claimed Warzone 2 has groundbreaking innovations, while Infinity Ward confirmed has new Warzone benefits from new technology features in gameplay." End quote. What do you make of this?
I am interested and a little concerned at the same time because
Okay.
based off of some of the rumors and leaks about Warzone 2, I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So one of those,
Can you give me specifics?
yeah, so one of those rumors, leaks, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
is that they are going to be adding AI to the map. And so it's
Oh.
not always, it's going to be PvPvE kind of in a
Okay.
way.
Yeah.
So this is something we've seen Fortnite do, where they've
Yeah.
added AI around the map for different various reasons. And
Doesn't Apex Legends do that too?
I think
Or maybe not.
so, maybe
I,
not. I'm not sure. I
yeah, I
know
can't
for sure.
remember.
Definitely Fortnite does it.
Okay.
Um, and at first, I didn't really like give that too much thought, right? Like I just like, oh, that's just a rumor. But Call of Duty has released a new map to Warzone. It's
Hmm.
called Fortune's Keep. So there's the big map on the game that hosts I think 120 players, and then there's a smaller version or a smaller map that does 40 players, right?
Hmm.
And so it's a lot more fast paced. And there's a
Yeah.
contract in the game that essentially there's AI on the map. You have to like try to kill all the AI and then get the care package or whatever. And now that I'm seeing that, I can see it happening more because it's more of a test, I think, because Call of Duty did this thing a little bit ago where they implemented a game mode into Warzone, right? It was
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it like dropped a lot of like it did a lot of like old of in-game events that we had seen over the last 2 years. And
Okay.
so they wouldn't let you buy your loadout until the first circle closed, right? Like you had to use like random loot off the ground for the first wave, right?
Yeah.
And then it comes out when we get a brand new map back in December, right? They implemented that exact same thing because they tested it in the other one. So if that makes sense, so like
Oh.
they tested it in the old one, and then they brought it to this one. So that's why I think that the AI thing is real because they're testing it in the new map,
Yep.
and they'll bring it into the newer map or Warzone 2 or whatever, like testing
Yeah.
things because I don't know why. I don't think we need AI in the game. I think it takes from the experience because you don't know if you're fighting a real person and or a bot, and it's just not satisfying to
Yeah.
it kind of ruins the gameplay a little bit. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they actually implement it. I know that there's been a lot of backlash with that contract in the game that brings the AI into the map. Like people just don't like it. People don't really go for it. Like I don't think I've ever picked one up in the game. Like
Yeah.
it's just we'll see what they actually end up doing. So
Yeah. Now, do you think this game comes out this year with Modern Warfare 2?
I don't think it's gonna drop with Modern Warfare 2. I think they're gonna do what they did with Vanguard and then the newest Warzone map, like the newest update of Warzone.
Okay.
So the original map that everybody was playing 2 years ago was called Verdansk. The map now is called Caldera, and so what they did is they didn't release Caldera until a month after the new game came out. So it basically gave everybody an opportunity to level up the weapons and stuff
Oh,
like
okay.
that. So I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
see Warzone 2 dropping immediately with Modern Warfare 2. I would give it probably a month, probably around like holiday time is when we'll probably actually see Warzone 2 integrated into the system.
Yeah. That that makes sense actually, because if I'm not mistaken, previously Call of Duty titles, like the actual single games that have come out, it's always been November, right? It's always been
Yes.
like November
Yeah,
17th or something.
it's usually like the first to second week of November.
Yeah, and this one's coming out a few weeks earlier at the end of October. So give that
Yeah,
an extra month. That's like right before Black Friday, holiday time. Like
yeah.
that could be big.
Yes. So yeah, we get Modern Warfare 2 October 28th this year, and I think that's one of the more early releases. We
I
actually
think so too.
I can't remember which one, but we actually got one on like October 5th or something, like a few
Really?
years ago, like very beginning of October. Yeah, I think I want to say that it was like Modern Warfare 2019 or something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was because um yeah, it came out before my birthday. My birthday is at the beginning of November, so
Yeah.
it was a lot earlier. So I'm gonna guess that's what they're gonna do is they're releasing it the 28th, and there's also rumors that they're gonna be releasing the campaign even earlier than the 28th. So you're gonna get the campaign like I think a week before, so people can play through the campaign and then go straight into multiplayer when it comes out, and then level up their weapons, and then jump into Warzone 2 a month, 2 months after.
Yeah, so it looks like Black Ops 4 and Blackout released October 12th of
Yep,
2018. And yeah, October 1st, yeah, Call of Duty. Oh, that's Call of Duty Mobile. You ever play that?
I
Is that any
did.
good?
It was fun. I don't play it
Okay.
anymore, but it was cool when it first came out.
Yeah, that was October 1st. Let's see, Modern Warfare, October 25th. And then, yeah, Warzone was in March. Yeah. I could almost see them doing similar to what they did with Modern Warfare and then releasing Warzone like in the springtime.
Yeah,
So, like you're saying, give people, a few months to kind of get acclimated with the new game and, go through that, level up your weapons, and then drop the new Warzone in the springtime. Seems like a good time to release a game too, is in the
agreed.
spring.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what they actually end up doing because right now it's all hush hush that nobody actually knows.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting just to see like and what they've done with and how just even how Call of Duty's changed. Like even from like when I was super into it, how it's changed from that to now you basically have to do Warzone and the game. It's like it's like a lifestyle. I feel I
yeah,
feel like
it definitely is.
demands a lot of your time. Um, so the last thing I wanted to touch on is a little bit of Game Pass, but as it relates to Call of Duty. So, do you subscribe to Game Pass at all?
I do not, but I've been wanting to. I've been
Okay,
kind of on the
because they
fence
do it on
for it.
PC, right? So you can get all
Yes,
those games on PC.
yes.
Yeah, and so I think it's pretty clear that Call of Duty games are to come to Game Pass. Would that entice you to subscribe to it to have older
100%.
titles?
Yes. If I could play Modern Warfare 3 and have like a populated lobby because of Game Pass,
Yeah.
I would 100% do it. Or like Black Ops 1 or Black Ops, like I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, yeah. I was kind of thinking about that from that perspective. Like, if they did bring them to Game Pass, and it actually did bring some life to some of those other titles, like that would actually be pretty awesome. Like my favorite Call of Duty, just because I have so many fond memories of playing the multiplayer of it, is World at War. Actually, like I just loved that multiplayer game, and I
That's
actually
pretty
played
solid.
hardcore a lot in that one.
Oof.
And but I felt like it was perfect for it because it's that World War II setting. It's you play a little slower, and like, yeah, it's one shot kills and all that, but just the way the mastered, like you kind of had to play it methodically. And that was also, pre when, a lot of the modern stuff was out now, but I don't know. It was just so much fun. I loved that game.
Well,
And
yeah, it's probably enjoyable too because that was also pre skill based matchmaking. So that probably,
yes,
those
yeah, that's
that's
an
when Call
issue.
of Duty was a lot more fun too. I think that's also part of the reason I don't really like multiplayer as much anymore is just how heavy skill based
Yeah.
matchmaking has played a part in recent Call of
Now,
Duties.
for those that may not know, can you explain skill based matchmaking?
So skill based matchmaking will determine your stats, what your KD is, so your kill death ratio,
Yep.
how much you're playing the object. Like just it takes all of your in-game stats into account, and then it throws you
Okay.
into lobbies based on other people that have similar stats. So yours, it sounds terrible coming, like it sounds bad. Like as somebody that plays this very religiously and like plays a lot, like I'm not trying to always play Call of Duty where I'm sweating and like, I gotta drink a rock star every gaming session. Like I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah.
Um, there's times where I want to just chill with my friends and play and not just kind of like mindlessly play and not really,
Yeah.
try too hard. But you're out here nowadays. If I get into a multiplayer lobby, I'm going against a full team of people that have never touched grass and like they're just trying to be the next professional gamer. Like it's not fun. And like
Yeah.
I understand skill based matchmaking. Like I understand why it's implemented because there's those players that are just not good. They don't have the time. They people that work a 9 to 5, they come back from work and they want
Yeah.
to play Call of Duty for an hour or two, and they don't want to get absolutely obliterated every single game. Like I understand that. That's in terms of marketing it and trying to get new players on the game and like keeping, I guess was you would say lower skilled players. Like I understand it, but from a top 1% player, like it's just not something that's great. It's not fun
Yeah.
to have to try and be the best at the game every single time you play the game. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what though? I feel like because even like because I dabbled a little bit in Black Ops Cold War's multiplayer,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty sure that's skill based matchmaking.
Yes, yes.
And like I've never been the world's greatest Call of Duty player, but I could hold my own, when I played the game regularly. But obviously, I'm nowhere near that same skill set now. And I feel like even when I jump into that game, I'm still getting my ass kicked. Like I don't
Yes.
I don't understand it. Like so I
Yeah,
feel like I just don't get it.
it's
I don't know.
gotten worse. There's like so like Call of Duty Black Ops 4, that one probably had like the lowest. Like there's some games that have really, really strong skill base, and then there's games that
Okay.
don't that are it's not as strong. So like Black Ops 4, that's part of the reason so many people like that game is because the skill base in that game was not as intense as it is now. Um,
Okay.
and I think part of the reason the skill base feels so much more cranked up now is because how Call of Duty is now cross platform. So Black Ops 4
Yeah.
was the last game that was like exclusive. So if you're playing on Xbox, you're only playing against people on Xbox. If you're playing on
Yeah.
PC, you're only playing people on PC. So now that it's cross platform, there's a lot more. There's the diversity is different. Like there's a lot. You're gonna a lot. There's a lot more good people together now, and so
Yeah.
they're just trying to. Um, I mean, I can understand that they're just trying to keep the really good people separated from the really bad people, so that the really bad people don't feel discouraged and stop playing the game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That makes sense.
but there's ways
I
around it. So
Yeah. Well, and I don't feel like it was that big of an issue like pre-skill based matchmaking. Like I don't know.
no, no, and it's funny because the biggest argument that comes from like the top players that complain about skill based matchmaking is like back when I was like 12, 13, and getting my butt handed to me, it didn't demotivate me to get out the game. I wanted to get better. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like it should obviously not everybody has that type of time, but like
Sure.
you should like you're not going to get better at a game by being spoon fed. So
Yeah.
I
No,
don't.
I mean that applies to like almost anything,
Yeah,
right? I mean, like
exactly.
sports, anything like that. You want to play with people that are better than you, so you can learn from them. And yeah, yeah. Now, one of the other things with Game Pass that I've kind of been thinking about, and we don't have to dive too much into it if you don't want to, but so like day and date's obviously the big thing with Game Pass, right? Games come out, you can either buy them or play it through Game Pass, and presumably that's going to happen with Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
So, but Call of Duty is also the best-selling game like everywhere. So how's that going to impact sales if everyone's going to be playing it through Game Pass?
Man, I would assume that it would, and maybe they just look at it and be like, okay, this is actually we're not going to throw this on Game Pass. Like I don't know what they could do. Like I don't know why they would put it on Game Pass in terms of like sales numbers because you're not going
Yeah.
to hit numbers if people are just playing it as like they want instead of just spending that $60-$70 for the entire game,
Yep.
and then like they're stuck with the game even if they don't like it, but they bought it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And versus being able to like pay for a subscription where maybe you play it for a month and then you don't you pay the whatever how much Game Pass is, and then maybe
Yeah.
you cancel your subscription and you never touch that Call of Duty again. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. maybe this ties into what they're going to do with that year off and stuff like that, and the focus on Warzone. Because, I mean, I'm almost look at Game Pass these days because look, Game Pass is great value. Don't get me wrong, and there's a lot of awesome games on Game Pass, but I don't think you can also deny that there's a lot of kind of shovelware. There's a lot of garbage on Game Pass too. Like I've just looked through there and I'm like, I see the new games every month that are coming out, and it's like, none of those really speak to me that much. And kind of like, what are these? What are some of these games? And so with just like with that, and like you put your game on Game Pass, and with the Call of Duty games, like people are it don't. What I've said about Game Pass is that I feel like it's training people to not buy games,
Yep. I mean, that makes
and
sense.
it almost puts these games into having to be made with free to play in mind.
Yep.
And so the next Call of Duty game, past Warzone 2, if that's going to be a day one Game Pass game, I think it has to be made with that kind of free to play mindset.
That's something
And
that
then
a
it'll
lot
be
of
heavily
people want.
monetized, right?
That's what people, I mean, it's already heavily monetized as is. Like, that's
Yeah.
what people want is if we want, if us content creators and stuff want Call of Duty to continue to grow or, become popular again, whatever, it needs
Yeah.
to go free to play. Like,
Yeah.
the $60-$70 paywall for a game that you might not like, like, you're kind of stuck with.
Yeah.
Just doesn't really help anybody. And they already shove like the microtransactions down your throat, like the new skins, the battle pass, all that kind of stuff. And
Oh yeah.
they do a really good job with those. Like the quality of the in-game skins and stuff like that are really good. Like I don't buy every single one, obviously, but like
Hmm.
I'm happy with the ones that I do buy.
Yeah.
And so if they just made the game free to play, like you would attract a whole different audience, and then people would start buying those microtransactions, buying the in-game skins, and then that's where a lot of their revenue could come from. Because like Warzone's free to play. There's a lot more people on Warzone than there are on the new Call of Duty, and I
Yeah.
don't know. I just don't know why they don't just adopt that model to the entire umbrella of Call of Duty and just put it free to play.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the same mindset. Like it seems like that's where folks are. That's kind of what people want. And I mean, that's not necessarily for me per se,
Yeah,
but I think it makes sense. My biggest fear with that is I don't want that to catch on with like other games,
yeah,
right? Like I still like my single player games. I still want those high quality narrative driven games. I still want there to be a place for that, but I also think there can be a place for those free to play big multiplayer games. And I don't Call of Duty. It just seems like you have Call of Duty as your platform, and then you make your annual updates. I mean, similar like what Destiny's doing, right?
yep,
Like they got their seasons, they've got their expansions and stuff like that. And sure, if you want to make your expansions, I don't know, $30 or something like that, and it has, $30 worth of content in there, great. I think that's perfectly fine.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll definitely see. I like my gut feeling just is that they will go free to play, just
Yeah.
because that's the trend right now with
Yeah,
multiplayer games, and there's a big
definitely.
market for the microtransactions and the marketplace stuff, and so I
Yeah.
just and it's weird too with Vanguard this last year. They've had more free to play weekends than I have ever seen in from a Call of Duty, and I'm just
Because
like,
they're probably trying to get people to play the game.
yeah, I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, just make the game free. Like,
Yeah.
you're throwing out a free weekend like twice a month at this point. Just give us a free Call of Duty title. Like, I
Yeah.
just don't understand.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Definitely with you on that. So last question I have for you, and just kind
Yes.
of a fun one to wrap it up here. What game or games are you most looking forward to for the rest of 2022? Or if there's anything?
Hogwarts Legacy
Okay.
is number
That game does
one
look awesome.
on my list. There was one. Let me trying to think of what else there was something else that was supposed to come out but got delayed. I'm trying to remember, but Hogwarts Legacy for sure
Hmm.
is number one. Um, just because I'm a very big Harry Potter fan, and
Yeah.
we have not had a Harry Potter game in
A long
years,
time, right? Yeah.
and just the way that they're going about it, the open world, and like the fact that you're going to the classes and all this kind of like, I watched I think it was like a 15-20 minute video of just like a full breakdown of
Yeah.
everything, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Like that's
It does look
that's
awesome.
that's a game I will not be getting on PC. I'm going to be getting it on my PS5 so I can sit in my bed and play it and just immerse
Yeah.
myself and not have to
Yeah.
like I, I don't have to like sit in my chair. I could be laying down playing it, be really relaxed, but also be very immersed.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no, yeah, I'm not even that big of a Harry Potter fan. I've seen the movies. I never read the books or anything. It just wasn't really. I don't know. Never got into it. But this game looks awesome. I gotta say, Hogwarts
yeah,
Legacy looks really cool. And I watched you. Maybe that video you watched was the state of play where they did like an in depth
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
about it.
It was the state of play. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the.
that just it seems like there's so much to do in that game. But I'm also curious with the classes and stuff. If they're gonna do it like, did you ever play into the Persona games?
I did not, but I've
Those
watched.
probably don't maybe aren't are your up your alley, but like they have a day system to where like each day you kind of wake up and then you go to school and then after school you can do, one of X number of activities. So I'm kind of curious if it's going to be kind of structured that way,
Yeah, I'm
like to
just
go to your
excited.
classes and do stuff.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
I hope it's like really in depth. So
Yeah. Yeah. It seems really cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Did you find that other game you were talking about?
I'm looking for it right now. Let's see. 2023. That was something. Oh, I'm also excited for obviously it was I think it was the Suicide Squad. That's the one that got delayed.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's the yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It was Suicide Squad kills
That looks
Justice League.
interesting. Yeah, that
But I'm
that
also
one.
excited for the Arkham Knights game. That
Oh, Gotham Knights?
yeah, Gotham Knights, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Um
Did you
but
watch the gameplay of that one?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I mean, it looks all right. I hope that
Yeah.
they polish it a little bit before
Yeah, it could use some of that for
it
sure.
actually releases. But
Yeah.
yeah, those um yeah,
That's an October game too, I think.
I'm just telling you, I'm so excited for Hogwarts Legacy. Like
Yes.
just
Yeah.
that's the number one on my radar right now in terms of like a single player game to look forward
Yeah.
to. So
Yeah, for sure. For me, I mean there's a couple different games I can think of. Splatoon 3 is one of them. I'm a big Splatoon guy. I love those games. So I'm looking forward to Splatoon 3 when that comes out on the Switch. But probably the biggest game I'm looking forward to. I mean, and even over like God of War Ragnarok, which yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but not as much as this game is the Callisto Protocol. Have you heard of that game?
mm-mm.
So did you ever play Dead Space?
Yes.
So it's done a couple of the guys that made Dead Space, they did their own studio and it's basically Dead Space, but not Dead Space. So like check out the gameplay. It looks awesome. Like the same concept, you're fighting these like zombie looking dudes in this like really dark prison and it's like classic survival horror. It looks fantastic. Like I cannot wait for that. And that comes out I think December, like the first week in December or something, like December 9th or something like that. It looks so good.
Yeah.
So good. I'm very much looking forward to that one.
Okay.
And the Dead Space remake comes out January of next year. You interested in that one?
I would play that. Yes.
Yeah. I really hope they do it justice.
Cuz
Because that Dead
it's
Space,
been a long time since I played it.
yeah. Oh, but I mean, like Dead Space, I don't know how much you love survival horror games, but like Dead Space is probably one of the best survival horror games ever made. Like the first one is just so good. It's awesome. I don't know. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, that's all I got for this week's episode. You have any closing thoughts, Jordan?
Thanks for having me. That was fun. I was just, just being able to talk about Call of Duty and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff is always fun to me, and just kind of and then sit and chat with you because it's been literally years since we
Yeah. It's
had an
far too
actual
long.
like vocal conversation. We
Yes.
we keep up to date with each other a little bit through text, but
Yeah.
it's great to hear your voice.
Yeah, no, likewise, man. And like I said, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to chat with me about video games. I would love to have you back on to talk more video games. Maybe not so much Call of Duty, but there's
Yeah.
lots of other stuff to talk about out there.
Maybe once Hogwarts Legacy comes out, I'll have all the knowledge for you.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I'll be playing it too, so we can definitely dive into that game. That'd be a lot of fun. We'll make that happen. So yeah, thanks again for hopping on the show. Thank you out there for tuning in and listening, and your love, kindness, and support. Appreciate that. Stay safe and stay cool out there. I don't know about you, but we've had this heat wave here in the Pacific Northwest. Like we every year we get at least like one heat wave that's like a couple of days of like 100+ degree weather, which is pretty warm out here. But this week, like from Monday all the way through, I think Sunday or next Monday, it's gonna be 100 plus every single day. And
Oof.
I
It's
don't mind it too much, but yeah, it kind of gets old after. Like you can't do too much out there, and
no.
yeah,
It's
it's
miserable.
pretty toasty.
I'm looking at the weather right now. It's 91 degrees right now, which isn't crazy, but
No,
uh,
that's manageable, I think.
yeah. But I was out of town last weekend, and it was 113, like
Ooh.
4 hours south of me, and it was just it was miserable. It was not fun.
Yeah, no, that's no bueno. That's a little too toasty. Yeah. So yeah, so stay cool out there. Hopefully you guys got AC and all that. So thank you again, and until next time, I'm Bonfire, and I will see you online.